Why do we repeat the exact same drama in our lives? Seriously, take a second to just reflect on that. Why might you, or maybe someone you care about, feel totally stuck in these repetitive, negative emotional loops? Think about it. Why do those same arguments happen over and over with your partner? Why do we hit the same roadblocks at work, or even sabotage our own success right when things are actually going great? It's not because we're broken, and it definitely isn't just bad luck. It actually comes down to a very specific, deeply hidden part of our psychology.
Okay, let's dive into this. The real driver behind that recurring drama is what we call the lost inner child. Basically, this is the part of you that holds on to deeply buried, completely unprocessed emotional pain from the past. And this isn't just some poetic metaphor. It's a very real, incredibly powerful psychological force. This inner child stays intensely active right beneath the surface of your everyday life, clutching onto fears from literally decades ago. It essentially just hits the replay button on past drama, keeping us trapped in a loop until we finally pause, acknowledge it, and actually do the hard work to heal. To really get how this works, let's track how a wound travels from childhood right into your adult life. Step 1. An emotional wound is formed in childhood, maybe from a chaotic home environment or a moment of deep embarrassment. Step 2. Years go by, you grow up, but that pain just sits there, completely unprocessed and hidden away. Step 3. Present day. You're at work or just eating dinner, and boom, a specific event triggers that hidden pain. A tone of voice, a passing comment. And then, Step 4. Milliseconds later, an impulsive reaction takes over and totally dictates your behavior. The adult you, no longer in charge. The wounded child is running the show.
And because of this whole dynamic, a lot of us end up going through life as what you could call a wounded walker. We're adults, right? We're navigating complex careers, handling intimate relationships, but secretly, we are relying on these impulsive emotional reactions that we learned when we were kids. We originally built those reactions just to survive whatever dysfunction we faced back then. But the real tragedy is that as wounded walkers, we mistakenly think these defensive reactions are still keeping us safe today, when in reality, they're pushing away the exact connections we crave the most.
What's really interesting here is the toolkit we reach for when we're in this wounded walker mode. We're talking about avoidance, lying, ignoring, passivity, and aggression. You probably recognize some of these rapid-fire responses in yourself or maybe in your friends during a stressful conflict. But here is the secret. These behaviors, they aren't signs of a bad personality. They are simply defensive shields. They're just desperate tools our wounded inner child uses to protect us from feeling vulnerable, inadequate, or hurt all over again. Section 2. The danger of internal stories. Because the crazy part is, this unhealed pain doesn't just mess with how we react to the outside world, it actually fabricates entirely false, terrifying narratives right inside our own minds. Have you ever done something like this? It usually kicks off with Step 1, experiencing a minor symptom, like a regular old stomach ache after a big meal. Step 2, your brain suddenly recalls a friend who had a severe illness that started with stomach pain. Step 3, your anxious, wounded self starts filling in the blanks. You go down an internet rabbit hole, connecting totally unrelated dots. And finally, Step 4, you fully believe this terrifying, completely fabricated story that you're severely ill. An unhealed mind can spin an everyday event into a full-blown crisis in minutes, leaving you absolutely paralyzed by fear.
I want to take a quick breather here and share this really beautiful quote from the poet Rumi. He said, "Love comes to us to rule us and shape us. So stay awake, my heart, stay awake." We've spent a few minutes diagnosing the problem, right? The wounded child, the anxious stories. But this thought gently shifts us toward the delicate journey of healing. Because to heal, we have to stay awake. We have to become courageously aware of our emotional patterns, instead of just sleepwalking defensively through our lives.
Moving on to expectation versus hope. This is a massive part of staying emotionally awake, managing how we anticipate our future, which totally dictates whether we experience joy or deep disappointment. So imagine a well-meaning parent planning what they think is going to be the absolute perfect summer day. They gather up all these supplies for dyeing shirts in the backyard with the kids, and they've got this vivid, incredibly rigid mental image of the afternoon. In their head, there's perfect family harmony, everyone's laughing, nobody is making a mess on the patio, and it's just pure, uninterrupted bonding. What could go wrong, right? Well, that parent approached the day with heavy expectation. And expectation carries so much emotional weight because it literally demands a perfect outcome. By demanding perfection, they've accidentally created a recipe for inevitable disappointment, the absolute second a kid spills dye or starts bickering. Now contrast that with hope.
Hope leaves room for a healthy emotional state. It focuses on the intention, wanting a nice family day, without any rigid attachment to the final outcome. If they practiced hope instead of expectation, they'd have the emotional freedom to actually enjoy the messy, chaotic reality of the day.
The roadmap to wholeness. We know the pitfalls now. The rigid expectations, the internal anxiety, the impulsive reactions. It's time to shift gears from the frightened child to the grounded adult.
And the roadmap for doing exactly that is the HEAL framework. HEAL stands for Healing and Embracing an Authentic Life. And look, this isn't just a catchy motivational phrase. It's a structured, practical guide for navigating your way out of past trauma. It's how you step out of the shadows of your childhood and into a genuine existence where you're finally holding the steering wheel.
Let's break down how this actually builds, step by step. First, deepen your self-awareness. Notice the exact physical sensations in your body when you get triggered. Second, give that unprocessed pain a voice. Acknowledge what your inner child is actually feeling, whether it's lonely or scared, instead of shoving it down. Third, actively quiet those impulsive reactions. Take a deep, intentional breath before you respond with aggression or avoidance. And fourth, merge the inner child with the responsible adult. Comfort that younger part of you, for sure, but let the adult make the actual decisions today.
When you do this heavy lifting, when you successfully heal, you unlock these incredible elements of a truly authentic life. We're talking awareness, clarity, competence, creativity, growth, and purpose. These traits seamlessly step in and replace those old, rusty defensive tools like lying and avoidance. It fundamentally transforms your relationship with yourself, and it totally changes how you interact with the rest of the world.
The crucial point here is making this profound shift. You are moving away from impulsive reaction, where you're frantic, reactive, defensive, and doomed to just repeat the same old drama, and you're moving toward conscious creation, where you are driven by the healed adult. You become incredibly mindful, beautifully intentional, and you finally start building an authentic future that's based on a deep, unshakable understanding of who you are.